Welcome to the channel, guys, gals. Today is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, and we're up $10. Just managing to dodge the bears so that we could come out on top. Not really on top, but a little on top, a little green anyway. And the reason being is because everybody loses in the stock market, and today we have a treat. You will get to see exactly what goes on when someone trades and trades and trades. They lose, they win, etc. A good example today. So stay tuned. Quick update first on our drawdown. Our drawdown for 2024 and 2025 is $2,544. That's 17 months, which is approximately $150 a month. What a lot less than what you would pay to be trained or for task trade or anything else. We started trading May 28th, and it's now October 22nd, 17 months later. So we're hanging in there. So let's take out how our P&L started out today. We started up 17, I think almost $23 up, and then we managed to lose that and scrambled back up to positive 11, but then we lost again until we recovered in the last trade at the very end. And so for the month, we're minus $108. Our efficiency today was the fact that we took 10 winning trades, 62%, even though our winning trade average is only 535 versus 719 on the negative. We took many trades, 16 total trades, and many shares, and we only came up with $10.37. And you can see there which ones are red and which ones are green. And yeah, AI was the issue. So here's the first review, and we're going to look at the first four trades we took on YYAI, a very small penny stock that was trading around 15 cents. So we started looking at it very early, and you can see here the green circles are the buys, the orange circles are the sells, and the one that got us was the one near the top. We thought it would go from 23 up to 38, and it didn't. It fell. I tried to sell three or four times among that jackknife bar. I couldn't. When I finally sold, I think I was down to about 20 cents. So I lost almost 4 cents on that one trade going down. Other than that, it had a good move, but then it just Christmas treed, and uh, I had been watching this. I saw it yesterday because it was around 10 to 11 cents. I didn't think anything of it until I looked at today, and it was in one of my gap scanners that I went back and I reworked all the scanners last night, renamed them, and make sure that they're all in line. And I found it, uh, which is interesting. A 15-cent stock, you can make money on it, but in the end, you'll see the last of the trades, and I lost. What made me get in mainly was the volume. The volume showed that it was good. If you look at the zero lag MACD there, that one is red, but the MACD pivot that I had down at the bottom, that one was green. So those were the reasons why I jumped in, but mainly it was the volume. The volume looked, that cyan volume over the red looked like it was going up, and that's the reason why I jumped in. Simple. Uh, we're momentum traders, so that's what we look for. We look for volume and moving up. This stock, I looked it up, is has something to do with a dating website, I think, or dating site in Hong Kong, which is quite interesting. But a foreign stock, but it worked for us at the very start, and we had stopped trading it. It would have been okay. So let's get into it, and we're watching it here. And as I mentioned, it was at 15 cents, and it was at 10 cents yesterday. And we're watching. If you like our videos, like and subscribe. The like costs absolutely nothing. So does the subscribe, absolutely nothing. We don't come visit and knock on your door. Plus, enjoy all the nice comedy relief graphics, thumbnails that we set up. It helps. It helps the AI channel. So we're looking. We jump in. Obviously, 500 shares isn't a whole lot at 15 cents. Um, but believe it or not, these stocks, even at this price, can hurt you. You can get hurt with 10, 15 bucks, and then it adds up one after another. And then pretty soon you start revenge trading, which is what I did towards the end on this same stock, thinking that it was going to go up. But the volume bars here are the ones that kept me interested. And we held it. And of course, 500, 100 shares, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. And it wasn't about the money as it was about the play. And that's what I meant at the very beginning, at the introduction, that the moves we made today were about us as traders trying to trying to what is it, waddle through the waters, through the thick, muddy waters that is the stock market. Um, and here we finally give up. It doesn't look like it's going to go up, so we make a slight gain, which is a tiny gain. But I was talking to someone. I actually wrote on some other YouTube trader on his channel. Um, I was using an analogy that the stock market's like a big semi barreling down the highway, and you're like a deer in the highlights in the headlights in the middle of that highway, and you're going to get run over if you don't move out of the way. You got to dodge, jump, do whatever you need to do, and adjust in order to continue trading. This is our second trade. We went up to $2.35, and it still looks interesting. The volume's looking up, both on the 5 minute and the 133 tick chart. And you see down there on the advanced volume bars, it's there's a lot more buying than selling. So we jump in with 1,000. We're trying to anyway. We couldn't get filled a couple of times, and then here we're feeling like, oh, are we in no man's land? Is it just gonna twist and turn around? But I had looked at it earlier. It looked like it had room up to 38. Uh, and what I've done in the past is if it has room, say up to 100, I divide it by 50, and that's the point where I scale out because my guesses can always be wrong, right? So I didn't do that for this, which should have been at 17 at yeah, because it was never going to make it to 38. Well, 38 is close to 40, but 20 would have been feasible. 19 would have been feasible. And that should have been my clue. But yeah, anyway, the analogy is that this stock market doesn't care whether you have a bicycle, whether you have a light, whether you have one of those safety vests. It doesn't care whether you have great insurance. It's just barreling down like a truck and it's going to run you over and you're going to be roadkill. If you don't adjust, get out of the way or find a way to move off the highway, which is always important. So we thought it was a slight pullback here. Remember, in the pre-market, we can't use templates, so I couldn't use my template, and it's 4:44 a.m. in the morning Pacific Coast, so it's 7:44 in the Eastern Coast. But it does recover, has a nice long tail there, recovers up. And by the way, the other thing, just to follow up, I went back in to show up to check what the fees were for today because we traded uh, 14,000 shares of this YYAI stock, and the fees, the total fees for all of those trades, were a grand total of $1.39, really negligible, really negligible. So for the day, we wound up losing uh, on this stock. I think like close to $45 plus the other dollars 46. So when you look at, oh well, you made $10, well you got to subtract $1.35 from it, but that's okay. The important thing is that we're green and we're continuing the pattern from Monday, staying within our realm, managing risk, and it is important, especially in a difficult market. So this morning, off the bat, the pre-market looked like it was moving. Lots of stocks were moving. It looked like the stock market bulls are back. And then I looked a little later. I think after 8:30, after breakfast, everything was dumping. Nvidia was down to 170 something. The SPY was down. Even crypto was down, which is good. I'm waiting for XRP to fall below 240 so I can buy the dip. And um, and it looks like something rattled the market, and I wonder what it was. I looked at the news, but it didn't seem like there was much. So so tomorrow we got to be very very careful because there may not be a good market. We'll have to look at and see what where it's at tonight. Let me just take a quick check while we're watching this candle bars paint. Yeah, the S&P is down 35, the Dow is down 334, Nasdaq down 213, Russell 2000 is down $36, and the VIX is up. Yeah, we had an interesting day to say the least. Beyond Meat way up to $8, and now it's back down below 4. 1-800 Flowers, no news. The stock was moving like it was going to go to 50, and it fell. It's down to 439. YYA is back to 18. Yeah, maybe I should have held it overnight, huh? That would have been the play. And the SPY is way back down to 667. Oklo got killed all the way back to 120. Damn, from 170, 180 to 120. That's a killing. So we had a good uh, move here on 500 shares. And remember, I said I'm nervous. 17. Let's get out. But whoever was buying this was resilient. And the interesting thing is, if you look at the level two and you look on the active trader uh, ladder there, you can see that folks are trading this stock like crazy. Look at that, 40 over 4,000. That's times 100. That's in the millions. People are trading this stock like crazy. That's nuts. Let's look at its profile here. Oh, it's an AI company. Sorry. YYAI. Air WA Inc. operates artificial intelligence software that provides, yeah, online matchmaking and dating experiences in Hong Kong, the US, and the United Kingdom. All right, so I'm not familiar with it. It's headquartered in Smyrna, Delaware, though, in the US, which is quite interesting. It would not surprise me, but lots of lonely people out there. I guess they're trading and buying up. So here we continue to watch it, and I know this is a little lengthy video because of the trade, 16 trades, but there's a lot of stuff that I want to record and for it to be uh, online so that the folks who are watching can gain some benefit from it. Here, we go in with 2,000 shares because we think this is great, but we don't get filled and it moves up and we lose a couple of cents or microcents. We try again, we don't get filled. And I think this is where I had to buy ask. So I get high 1956. Well, not too bad. The fills were not that bad. And it starts moving up. So the quick math here, those 2,000 shares were a total cost of $391.20. I should have gone in with more shares. I thought about 10,000, but that was just too crazy. But we take a look and see what it does. It looks like there's no stopping it. And this is what we saw in the early market, the pre-market. Here we start to bail out. We take half off because now we really think it's the EMAs there look like they're going to continue up, but I'm not so sure at this point. So it taught me uh, two lessons. One right here while I was talking, the one that if I see that it's got room up to 38 from 15 cents, I should only expect it to move up half. So here we scale out and we've got a nice little profit of $21. I even thought of stopping right here, but the market was hot. Lots of stuff moving. Now, they weren't moving too high. Everything was moving a little bit, and that was part of the problem. It looked like traders did not settle in, narrow in on one or two particular stocks. They wanted to, everybody had their own. So here I still see the volume going up. Uh, it looks it looks like it'll continue. Maybe 30 cents is possible. And I say what the hey. But we get filled up at the very top of that bar. And I think folks, I mean, there weren't a whole lot of sellers there. There were a lot more buyers. That was one of the interesting things. You can see there are four digits buyers, but only three digit sellers. Oh, here we go. During the open market, this stock would have been probably halted and people would have lost interest. So we start falling and I'm pressing the button once, cancel, sell bid, cancel, sell bid again, finally get taken out. And what happens? We're down now, all the way down to 540. So on to the next one. It's nearly 5 a.m. now, Pacific. So on to the next one, BYND. We took 4 trades, and it was just minor dollars, but they were all green. Interesting stock. Was at $4.78 last night, I think, and today we went up there. Here were our trades. Again, green circles is where we entered, and you see that arrow in the circle on the left-hand side. That green bar was a halt, and coming off the halt, was it this one? It was a halt? No, it wasn't a halt. Our trade happened right there off of that bar, and then we sold up higher on the red bar. That white circle that you see is just shows the pattern of how the EMAs are switching, and you see the cyan going up, the magenta following it, or the fuchsia, then the blue, and the green, and that's the reason why I took that uh, trade there. Then we get the trade reversal. We ignored it, and you can see in the background there that I had drawn a trend line. You'll see me draw that later. And then on the upside, again, we took trades at the bottom, green circles are the buys, and the orange circle were the sells. Had we gone in with more shares, we would have made more money. But this is an excellent lesson about uh, how you're supposed to gauge what the market is doing, what your stock symbol is doing, so that you can enter and follow. I did really well on this one. Now, if I can do it with a lot more shares, that would be helpful. And I think what helps is that curve, that belly, that the stock falls within, makes that belly goes up, gets rejected off a BWAP, and then goes back up again. And we'll see it in the video here pretty soon. Down below, I was looking at the MACDs, and they looked, you can see right there where they switched, and they're moving up, and that gave me the go ahead to go in, as opposed to jumping in when it's red, when it's moving down. Even though the volume there wasn't great, it picked up. There is no way sometimes to know whether a stock is going to go. You have to make an educated guess based on what the indicators are telling you, based on what the stock has done. And someone asked me, why do you trade pre-market? I want to see what stocks are moving, what they're doing, what their behavior is, so that if I know what their behavior is, it's like bringing up children, man. If you know what your child was like when they were small, you're going to know exactly how they're going to behave during their teenage years. Wild, right? But it's an analogy for me. So that's where we went back in. We thought it would go back up to 7, actually, at this point. But I don't think we traded it all the way up to 7. I think we stopped short. So here we go. We start watching it. Yeah, it's at 6:30, and you see that belly off of the yellow dotted line, which is the BWAP. And as I'm looking here, I see it switch, and this is what I think it's going to do based on what has happened and what other stocks have done. Now, every stock is not going to do this. It has to be have some strength, have some a catalyst, and the only catalyst this one had was the news from yesterday. So it's a continuation stock, and the fact that folks may be interested in the product the company makes, and therefore they're all into it. But because you can see on the 5 minute there, it's red up, red down, lows and highs, and the volume is lower. But we think it has an opportunity, and that's the reason we take it. Now we could have jumped in a little earlier, I guess, below 620, and made a little bit of dough right here. But I needed to be sure that those EMA lines were going to make that switch rather than pointing downwards. And here's a nervous time. You see how red that volume bar is. The other thing, I think it's a little easier in the pre-market, or at least it is for me, uh, because the volume is reduced and there aren't that many stocks firing off. At the open, what I've been seeing these past 3 days is many stocks all firing up, firing up, firing up, and making it difficult to keep track of which one is moving. And so you wind up moving from one to another, one to another, one to another, and you don't settle on, and you lose your timing. In the pre-market, I think it's made it a little slower and easier for me to observe one stock. Yeah, I might miss one or two, but it's made it easier for me to pick and choose which ones I make money on. And like I said, last year I was having, and I think earlier this year I was having good success in pre-market, doing better than in the open market, and I think that's part of it. And it's the reason that I think some folks trade later in the day after London close or right before London close when it's 9:30 a.m. Pacific, or into the the close an hour before close, an hour and a half or 2 hours before close, because the stocks don't move that wildly. Of course, your profit is going to be a lot lower. You're not going to uh, see the jumps and the squeezes that we see in the morning. The other reason to trade pre-market is there's pros and cons to both, right? So the pros is that there's no halt. Well, stock is going to go up; it's just going to go plain up. The on the downside, if it starts headed down, it's going to be difficult to get out. It's going to be difficult to get filled depending on what the stock is and how the broker, what type of inventory the broker has. So here what we're doing is just waiting for it to go a little higher, maybe up to VWAP before we sell. We're not going to make a whole lot of money, but as I'm looking there on our P&L, we're up $5.40, and so we're not looking for much. We made 33 yesterday and a lot less, 7 I think the prior day. So I'm thinking if I go, with 11, 12 bucks, uh, I should be happy. The one issue with this though is, these stocks over $5, they eat up your settled cash right away. And so right here, hey, we're nearing VWAP. We're just gonna get out 80 cents. What the hey? And what was more important about the trades I took and watching this stock was whether or not I had drawn the trend line correctly. Now here we're ahead. It's 5:25 Pacific AM now, and you can see we had a trend reversal. It did hit VWAP, and it turned careened down, and then it went back down to about 625, I guess, sort of around there, 620, above 620. And so we continue to watch it. And the jumps in here in times, right? I cut out while I'm looking at other stocks. I was, looking at AREB, BMBX. I was looking at PRZO, SBEB. I was looking at a whole bunch of other stocks uh, that were listed there in the other watch lists, scanning through them as well to see what they were doing or to see if there was other opportunities. So by this time, with all the shares we've taken, with all the trades we've taken, our cash has dwindled down to $1,884 up in the upper left-hand corner there in the cyan color. And here, obviously, the MACDs, you can see they're red. They're in the red. They show no sign of reclaim or recovery. And the volume is kind of light. You see there the current bars around 50,000, while the last bar was 303,000. And now it starts to pick up. See that volume? The little label. So I am no by any means, I am not a genius by any means at the stock market. These lines that I drew, the trend lines, are just based on what I have seen in my experience and my intuition. of what I see. So don't take it to heart that that's going to happen all the time. And something that you have to do is build a rapport with your software, with your indicators, and with the stock that you're trading. If I had just woken up, jumped in, opened up my software, and come right to this point, I probably would have not taken a trade. I would have looked at that and said, no, that stock's going down. I wouldn't have known to look back and see that big belly, that it has my pattern. I wouldn't have, if I didn't know that it was, just under $3 yesterday and moving up. All of those items are factors that you need to take into account. Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of stuff, but it's you know uh, a good analogy would be, think about what pilots do in the cabin of a 747. They got hundreds and hundreds of switches. They don't have a mouse, a joystick to fly the plane. Well, they do have joysticks, but not in the sense that as it relates to gaming, right? They don't have a controller that moves the plane. They have to move a lot of switches, and that's only what you see in the cockpit. Not to mention all the wiring that is throughout the plane. So the stock market and trading is someone like that. And I think I'm kind of lazy because I did take an options trade earlier in the month, and it was great, 240 bucks. But I haven't gone back because I'm too chicken, and it takes a lot of research to find the right stocks. So other than the normal ones, you go with the top seven and then a few names that you hear about. But you could be eaten alive if you pick the wrong stock, especially with a small account like this with no margin, no leverage, and the ability. I don't have the ability to cover, to hedge my bet, so I can't buy a put and a call at the same time. I can only buy a single put or a single call, which means a straight trade. And so if the market gets better, maybe options would be the way to go because you can make more money, and you can buy an option that's already in the money, and and just resell it, just turn it over, make a few bucks. So here we see that it's got that red and green bar are sort of uh, that have the same bottom, double bottom, and it looks like it's shaping up to be a V there, and it might actually go up. And I put my button on the buy bid, and I get filled 653, and it's also the half dollar. But you can see there the orange screen light trying to light up, and that's the MACD. The MACD trying to flail and say, "Hey, you're below, you're below, you're falling below." So that's why I've got my pointer on the sell ask. But it does move past VWAP, and the orange background color goes away. And you look at the 5 minute there, you see that bar. Look at that long tail as it has moved up. And on the 133 tick chart, which is right there in the middle at the bottom, equivalent of a 10-second chart, you see old green also moving up. Yeah, I don't have a 50 EMA or a 200. Be interesting to see. Maybe I should add one because it looks like it just bounced off of there. So my EMAs are from what are they? Are they up there? I think the blue one is a 21. So 913, 813, and 21, I think, or 913 and 21. So we sell. We're right up to VWAP. We're not going to take a chance that it's going to falter and fall back because that can also happen. It can try to hit and pass BWAP once, twice, three times, and fail. And the only way you can be sure is if it passes the VWAP and it holds and it moves higher. And there might be a small pullback, but it moves higher. At least that's the pattern I have seen. Don't don't take it as a perfect pattern. So it's 5:34 a.m. We're about to have a do we have a jump here? Yeah. 4 minutes later, there's a long tail wick there of indecision, more to the downside. So it's a good thing we got out because it just consolidated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes there, and it looked like it was gonna go down again. But on the 5 minute, the volume does pick up, and now our MACDs are a little bit in a better position, and our volume starts to turn cyan. I didn't like that average volume bars where you have the both the buy and the sell in the same bar. I couldn't get used to it, but I'm liking it now. I might get rid of the other one. Now I'm not even looking at the volume, regular volume. I use the 5 minute awesome oscillator there to give me a gauge, the 133 tick to give me a gauge, and then the volume. So maybe I'll drop that. And I'm getting conflicts between the zero lag MACD and the mid MACD pivot. I'm liking the pivot a little better. Maybe I need to change the parameters. I know everybody uses 1226.9. Uh, I discovered that there's other numbers that you can use. So we're in for 10 shares as well because this, 10 shares, 10 shares, 10 shares at $60 at a time or a little over $70 starts to eat in your cash, and we're not even at the open yet. It's barely 5:40 a.m. Pacific. So when I drew the trend lines, I wasn't intentionally thinking that it was going to go all the way to 740. I just drew it past that line that's there right before 720, thinking that it may hit 718, 720, um, and whatever. If it goes above that, if it's positive gains. And at this point, I can't remember what it did do. Let me see if I can find it while we're waiting for this to take effect. 540, so that would be 840. Hmm. Yahoo's got its times mixed up, or I do. Oh yeah, it's 517. Okay, so 540, it's 840. Yep, we're in the pre-market. 736 was the high at 849. And again, the volume is engaging. The MACDs are remaining steady and elevated. And on the ladder, you can see that you got 3 digit bids and asks. So good amount of volume. Yeah, I should have added here probably around 670, 675 would have been the ad. Maybe going with 50 shares. We only had 1884, so 100 shares. Would have been $600. It still would have been different. 100 shares. So we're not going to wait around. We think that 740 is possible, but we're really not sure. And look at that. Nice big red bar. Sold off. It couldn't hold. So we have to anticipate. Now it does recover a little later, 45, a couple of minutes later. So we jump in. Now it's above 7, the whole dollar. And it looks like it's going to pass our 710 line there. MACDs and the volumes are still in there. And we're just looking for a quick scalp here. A little tiny bit of the market. Here we're up about $9.60. So now you saw the uh, the first trades on YYAI, following the indicators, moving up, not making mistakes, not taking trades at the wrong times. Here we see a pattern again. The stubborn trader, good pattern. And had we not taken that last trade where we lost $15 on YYAI, right now we'd be up, what, 15, 20, about $25. And that would have been a good day. I was watching another YouTuber this morning. Uh, they have nearly $9,000 in their account, and it looks like they have leverage because they're turning it over and over, and they're making less than $100. So the objective is to train yourself to have discipline, to follow the indicators, especially when the market is bad. If you can do it when the market is bad and not that bullish, then imagine what you can do when it's bullish. You'll throw 100 shares out there and it'll stick and it'll, you know, make bucks. Because I hear some of these YouTubers talk about what they think their golden age was after COVID, and they were trading and they were making money like you know, like it was candy. And um, but now that it's difficult, they're having a hard time. They can't make the gains. Some are even quitting. So you have to reinvent yourself. If something doesn't work, you have to look. So here's where we sell 730, and remember what I said, 736 is the high as it gets before it starts pointing downward, and it never recovers from this point on. So next, BNBX, we took what, 20, 30 shares on that one, 2 trades. Made money on the first one and lost on the second one. I saw somebody make money on good money on this one, make over $100 on it, and my timing just wasn't ready. I think I got thrown off by losing those $15 to YYAI, and I needed those trades on Beyond stock in order to recover my confidence and make sure that uh, it wasn't me, that it was just market conditions and that I didn't follow through. So the lesson, uh, the first lesson YYA was, if it's got room to 38, divide it in half and even a quarters and start bailing out. So here we jump in, we see it move up again. Stock over $5, so 10 shares is $50. This one, the MACDs look a little low, but they're elevated. The 133 tick mark chart is moving up. The stock is low as opposed to its high there on the 133 tick mark, but the volume is green on the awesome oscillator. And again, headed towards VWAP, and you see that big belly off of the VWAP. So my thought here is it's going to go up. It's going to hit the VWAP and or fall short of the VWAP right around 550. It might make 550 and then fall back. But it begins to have issues here. And we try to sell high and we couldn't get out. We have to cancel. I need to use control click on the ladder in pre-market. I keep forgetting. You can do that. Click control and then click on the ask size and then you'll sell. And we made $1.60 there. It never, I don't think it hits VWAP, past VWAP. But it does recover, and I think we jump back in, but unlike Beyond Meat, I don't think this one is interested in going too much beyond the VWAP. See me there changing my watch list, switching back and forth, and then it does move up, and we think maybe it has strength, and it's hitting nearing the $6, so we start looking, and we're trying. We haven't hit the button yet. We like to see it closer to 6. We're too slow, way too slow. And we jumped in with a template. This time the template, yeah, it's 632. It's off the open, so the template works off the open. SBEV, one trade, 20 shares. And this one had been around since yesterday, I think, moving up, but it was stagnant. It wasn't doing much of anything throughout the morning. But it started to hit the scanners. It looked like there was an opportunity. And it was also moving up to VWAP. Now this one, this was probably its first move. I don't see another one there, and so we're not interested in staying around to see if it careens down or not. I think that was enough for us. So it's a little quick, little scalp. Had we had more money, yeah, we could have thrown more money at this one. This one was under $3 just for that one particular trade, earn a few cents. But we're continuing. We're up about $10 right now. And the market is open. 6:37 a.m. Oh, and then we go back to YYAI. So the trades you're going to see next are all the red trades. I think minus the 1590. I think we already saw that 1590. I think. Maybe not. No, we haven't seen that one. So this stock is trading right up there at 18 again. We jump in. We think maybe at the open market, and I did jump around a little bit. We took this one before we did uh, BMBX and SBEV. That's why the time is different. But since I had more YYAI trades towards the end, I wanted to consolidate them. So just have two groupings as opposed to jumping back and forth. And from that last trade from BYND to this point, we were, I mean, I think I deleted uh, quite a bit of time, half an hour almost, of switching, looking. This particular trade here reminds me of one that I took last year. It wasn't on this same stock, but it was highly similar uh, on a very on a penny stock this low. It was almost the same, around 18 cents, and I think I only had $400 in the account at the time, and so I was trading the penny stocks, and it did the same thing to me as this one did now. So here the MACDs look up. There's at least three bars there that show volumes up. There's been a huge sell-off. We can see on the 5-minute awesome oscillator, we can see six red lines all in reduced volume size. The 133 tick mark looks like it's sticking up, like it wants to, uh, like it's setting itself up for the open and might break out. But yet, we're down about a few bucks. And I really don't know whether there was an influence from Hong Kong trading and it's an hours thing. Whether I'd have to find out what the hours the Hong Kong market is open, and that may be the reason volume dropped off, at least for buying, because the selling was there. So this is where should have just taken the profit here. This thing wasn't going to move anymore. Almost a double top there at that line. And that's the other important thing. We marked out our resistance lines, and these stocks are hitting right there. So we can't get filled. We try to get filled, and now it turns into a red line, and uh, we're into the open. We could have hit flat there and gotten out without a big loss, so we did. Cool. So I don't know which trade this was. Oh, this is the one where we lost 90 cents with 2,000 shares. Okay. Yeah. So this was before BMBX and SBEV. So now we move on to the next one. This one's 1,000 shares. And now we're at 640 now. We've given it a little bit of time. It looks like it's moving up. See the green dots there looking up. The MACD pivot is looking up. The zero lag MACD starts to show signs of green, but the volume is lower than the previous 10 bars there. And I didn't check to see what was moving at this time. I think it was BNF. There was something else moving at the time because I missed it completely. I missed BNF completely from 80 cents. I had given up on BENF. I mean, the scanners kept pushing, alerting on BENF, but it went up as high as $1 or a little over $1 and then fell back down. I didn't think it would have any opportunity. So another good thing I think that came out of today is that small caps were doing really good, especially penny stocks. So that does help. You can't trade $6 stocks all the time. You're not going to make money. So here, all of a sudden, we take a little turn, and the MACD reversed, and that's why we get the orange overlay on the background. And we lose a couple of bucks. But we're still not bad overall. We haven't taken a huge loss like we did in prior weeks in our during our red days. If we look at our calendar, I think we had 2 days way over $100, and that's what we need to avoid. So now here we're a little later. I jumped ahead about 3 minutes, and it looks like it's going to go back up again. And you see that pattern there. It looks like a chandelier, doesn't it? And it looks like this one has to go up and pass that line. The volume looks good. And at this point, I thought, oh, maybe I should have held. I bet you anything, this stock tomorrow will be at 38 cents by the time we begin trading. It's just a dumb guess. It's, it's not true. Don't hold me to it. I mean, I changed my thumbnail 3 times today before I finally settled on this last one because it was a weird day. A 15-cent stock that was 10 cents yesterday. It's just crazy. Uh, uh, Fake meat, plant meat, which isn't bad. I've tried it before, but some of the restaurants don't carry it anymore. Don't carry Beyond Meat burgers. So I'm not gonna tell you which ones they are. So they've dumped it. So otherwise, I'd eat them. I'm not gonna have a Beyond Meat steak, but a burger, it's okay. So we're looking up, but I think what was happening here, of course, it was being shorted, and I didn't look at short interest. I never look at short interest. Uh, Bad habit, probably. I need to start looking at it. So BENF has already moved up 9 cents, and I totally missed it. I didn't. I wasn't even looking at it because I was so concentrated on this darn thing. So the smart move here would have been to get out right now, but this is what happens when you don't get out right now. And you can almost see the pattern. Look at the MACDs down at the bottom. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then it picks up again. So these are shorts. They're just buying it up, and we as the dummies, me specifically, jumping in, thinking it's going to go higher. It never does. And the shorts have a hold on this one. The bears take it. Meanwhile, BNF is up to $1 too. Yeah, the nice thing would have been to not even spend these $300 on these 2,000 shares and have it available for the next trade, which went really well because that made us recover during the day. Because at this point we're down now, down 13. We're down about $8, which is still not bad for all the trades or a small account. We dabbled in tiny penny stocks and we dabbled in $6 stocks. and we held our own, and that's important. Something that I wasn't doing earlier in the year. Had I had the discipline that I have now earlier in the year, my drawdown would be a whole different story. But you know, that's that's the price of entry. So we got to look forward and hope that 2026, the first 3 months, will be different. Though I know February is a slow month. Every February I've seen something happens. Everything goes down towards the holidays. Things go down. Uh, the week before New Year's is really good. There's one day in there that I think has good trading opportunities. So here we start to see 4,000 in the sell column. So this was 2,000 shares, yeah. But look how it picks itself up. And I should have known as you see the MACD on that MAC pivot. You notice how it's high. It forms a triangle high, then lower, 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 and then even lower yet. So the MACD is closer to the signal line as it goes. And there's the pattern up there, that chandelier pattern that I'm sure there's probably a technical term that traders use. I don't have one. So we get out. Did we get out? No, we didn't. We're still in it. Damn. If it was me, I would have gotten out. 6:50. We're close to 7 a.m. I'm thinking, well, maybe we're looking for a 7 a.m. Pacific traffic to come in. Now, the next one is very exciting because all week, and I think even last week, you've heard me talk about halts and how I don't like halts and how most people don't like halts. I've been lucky in very few. I think 1 out of 10 I get lucky and I do okay, or maybe 2 out of 10. But uh, today, I think my mind was right. I had the right amount of sleep that allowed me to make an impulse decision. I'm gonna have to fix that watch list, move it up, the P&L, move it up a little bit because when you get one, two, three, four, five, six stocks in there, it cuts them off. And I put AIRE in there since early in the morning, but I never traded it. It just wasn't gonna go anywhere. So we had plenty of opportunities to get out. We just didn't get out. Maybe we would have lost pennies as opposed to dollars, but so here I finally sell out. And at this point, I'm not thinking that I'm going to recover, that I'm going to wind up green. I'm thinking, oh, well, looks like my recap today is going to be 20 bucks red because we lost, let's see, we made $54 total and we lost 45, and that was the difference. Plus the $1.39 in fees, which are nothing. So yeah, here we just get out and then it eventually falls. So BENF And I was telling you that we missed it. We made $23 on it. That picked up whatever we lost on YYAI and gave us a little bit of a profit. So I did do a recap on this one. This one is the one that was in a halt, and right up there at the green dot on that red bar, which is an indecision doji there, hammer I guess you call it. That's where we took our trade. We bought and sold right at that bar, and we didn't even get to the green bar, the high 137. Our that looks like a stoplight, but that's the trade. It was a very quick trade, so we were waiting for the for it to come off. Zenda was saying it was going to resume at the same price, except a couple of pennies. I made the quick calculation with the cash, $604 that I had, that I could take 500 shares, and to allow for some slack, I figured, oh, I'll just take 450 shares, and I'm going to jump in right off as it resumes. You know, uh, even if it goes down, just hold it and see if it goes up again. It looks like it has an opportunity to do so. Now, it was a long shot. It was a way of a long shot because this stock, I don't think did too much afterwards. So we hear I've slowed down the video a little bit. Oh well, it hit 155 off the open, so I guess it did do something. It went up another 20 cents beyond the high of 137, but we couldn't be sure. So, but it was a good trade, lucky trade, desperation. All the EMAs, as you see there, are lined up. They have a good distance and they're up. So my thinking is buyers are going to come in and they're going to buy this. Uh, Down at the bottom, looking at the volume looks like it's popping. And even though it was the resume price was the same, and I'm looking at the MACDs, and they're green and elevated. So some instinct, perhaps, told me that this was going to move up, and that it had an opportunity to do so. And that I didn't know whether it was going to dip or not. I didn't think it was. So, and I wasn't around. I didn't have the chart up when the halt went in, so I don't know how many people were on the bid. Usually, if you see, 2,000, 3,000 on the bid, then you know it's going to move higher, squeeze higher. But uh, if it's lower than 700, it'll probably dip. So here we go. So now we're waiting on that. Uh, and now you can clearly see the MACDs there look real nice. The volume only only green. You see the bar. We got a green bar, small red pullback, and the candle to make a new high. Lots of people like saying that, so I just thought I'd throw it in. And you see me set the amount for 50 and my mouse over the button, and I'm using my template. I'm thinking, okay, well, and I know 68 cents up, it's pretty high. I need to redo that for lower. I think I need multiple ones at 20, 30, and 40 to be able to use them that way. 18 cents is also a little too low for this type of stock, but you have to give them room if they dip. Sometimes they'll dip 20, 30 cents off of one single bar, and you get out, and then the stock winds up at $2. So this was a risk. I was willing to risk the 18 cents if it fell. But if it went to the upside and here it picks up slightly, I get filled. And you see my stop is all the way almost right above $1. But look at how quickly it picked up. Just on 450 shares. At this point, I say, I'm happy. I've flattened out. All in that single candle. Everyone, have a great day.